Hi guys, this is Courtney from Ruby Red Farm. Today I'm going to be going through the top 7 reasons I've found so far why you should start homesteading today. So one of the first things that comes to mind for me is the fact that I get to be outside so much more than I would otherwise. A lot less time on screens. I'd say in the summer on average I'm spending at least 3 extra hours a day outside that I wouldn't have been otherwise. For me, that's a huge boost to my mental health, and I know I appreciate that vitamin D. So the second thing that comes to mind for me is that we are eating a lot better. And so there's so much more pride that comes with growing your own food. We are eating so much more produce and way more veggies than we ever would have. I've seen a big difference in my kids and being interested in at least trying veggies when they've had a hand in growing them. On top of that, we raise probably about 90% of our own meat products, and that taste difference is incredible, but the quality is a huge difference, and there's studies out there showing how much of a difference the nutritional value is in those products. And so can't get that from a supermarket. So glad that we get to raise it all on our own and eat a lot healthier now. The third big difference that I've noticed is that we get a lot more exercise now. When we were out in that garden, especially during green bean season, if you've ever grown bush beans, you know what I'm talking about. My hamstrings are sore for 2 weeks straight. But the fact that we get to be outside more goes hand in hand with the fact that we also get so much more exercise. My Fitbit tells me I'm just getting so many steps. In the summer, I hit 20,000 steps on a regular basis. In the winter, I'm getting quite a bit more just from getting out and doing chores in the morning and the evening. The number 4 reason why I would recommend you start homesteading is that eventually it will save you money. Now, it may not save you money right away, but as you get better at it and as you develop your systems, eventually it will save you a lot of money on food. And the other perk people don't realize sometimes is it'll save you money on gas. Once you're not as involved in other hobbies that become less important to you over time, you're not wasting money on going to town every evening. And eventually, if you get to the point where one or both of the members of the family can stay home from work, now you're saving money on that commute gas as well. The number 5 reason to go ahead and make that leap to start homesteading is that it gets your kids way more involved in the family life. In our case, my kids love helping me in the garden. My son's great with washing eggs and loves doing nighttime chores with his headlamp on. My daughter is really great at caring for the animals. She's got that empathetic touch. So you'll get to see gifts in your kids you may not have noticed otherwise. And I will say there's just so much to be said for the delayed gratification that comes with farming. It really brings out the absolute best in your children because at the end of the day, you're trying to raise them to be good adults. The 6th reason I found to start homesteading is that you're going to learn a whole lot of new skills. Now, this is trial by fire, learning by necessity, but the bottom line is you're going to have a lot bigger toolbox of things you know how to do even after a couple years. For me, I knew nothing about gardening. 3 years ago was our first garden ever. This year we were able to put out over a half-acre garden, and it went just amazingly well for us. My husband, I know, has learned infinite amounts already about carpentry, plumbing, electrical work, fixing different automobiles, our tractor, for example. I've learned a lot about cooking, a lot about just meal planning and budgeting and these things that, adulting 101 types of things that you just don't get exposure to if you live this cookie cutter life of going to work, coming home, and going back to work again every day. So there's a lot you can learn in the homesteading world, and the best thing is you can learn whatever it is that interests you. This one's probably my favorite bird right now. And last but not least, one of the most amazing things that I've realized since starting homesteading about 2 years ago is that self-sustainability creates an incredible amount of confidence. The independence that you start to have creates this just immeasurable pride in the work. There's something so rewarding about seeing something all the way to fruition and knowing that you did that and you had a hand in that. And I love my job, but you just cannot replace the tangibility of growing something from a seed, for example, seeing an animal from start to finish and knowing again that you had a hand in that. So that independence, that confidence that comes with that, one of my favorite reasons that we've really enjoyed homesteading these last 2 years. So those are my 7 reasons, guys. Your 7 reasons could be completely different than mine. The point of this whole video, though, is if you're on the fence about making that leap, just jump. It's such a wonderful adventure. You get to learn as you go. You can have a laugh about the fact that you will make mistakes, but it is so incredibly rewarding, and it will very quickly overtake your life, but in the best way possible. Again, this was Courtney from Ruby Red Farm. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe as we grow. We want to take you along on our lovely adventure. My #1 fans. They keep following me as I make my videos.